Trying to stay focused, I keep drinking this lean. Killers behind me as I'm chasing my dreams, oh Lord. Trying to heal up a nigga, feel like Tyreek. But it's been too long, realize they permanent scars. Raindrops, they say keep enemies close, but I can't hang without. I'm the real definition of a falling star.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, The Real Me. It's The Real Outdoors TV. I know y'all ain't seen me in a while. You know, it's been wintertime, cold, and I don't catch fish in the cold. Every time I do try, I never catch nothing, so I ain't been able to make no videos for y'all over the winter. But it's almost that time. It's getting warm. Shad coming up in the river. White perch coming up in the river. Striper coming up in the river. And I'm about to go over my setup for what I'm using to fish off the 14th Street Bridge for the striper this year. I got me Daiwa Saltis BG30. It's an all-around good reel. I use it for cobia, striper, catfishing, drum fishing. I use it for all. You can use it for anything. I got 25-pound test, main line. It's mono. I don't use braid. Braid too much of a headache. I use a 50-pound shock leader. Use 50-pound shock leader. Hook sizes, I use 8/0 J hooks, 8/0 circle hooks, 7/0 J hooks, and 7/0 circle hooks. It's typically what I use for everything. Striper, drum, cobia, they work for all. I got regular swivels and snap swivels that I use as my sinker slides. I use 80-pound tests, mono or fluorocarbon, to tie as my leader to my hooks. Because I don't ever want to hook into a fish of a lifetime, and I'm using 50-pound tests. And I end up breaking off because there's a lot of rocks and stuff in the James River, so you never know. But in this video, I'm going to be showing y'all how I tie my shock leader on, how I make my rigs, how I set everything up. So next few weeks, next couple days, y'all gonna see videos of me striper fishing. Hopefully I start catching something soon. But I'll show y'all how I tie my shock leader on first. I don't know what the name of this knot is called, but I just know it's strong and it worked. And when you're fishing from a bridge, you want to use a lot of shock leader because you're fishing from top of a bridge. So you get a big fish on, you want to be able to have enough to where you got your shock leader wrapped around your spool a few times and it still reaches all the way down to the fish, because you don't want to have fish of a lifetime on and you can't get them in or get them in the net because you still using 25-pound test. But I don't know what it's called, but you start off with your 50-pound test. You know, you make a simple overhand knot, just a simple overhand knot, like as if you was about to start tying your shoes. Then you take your main line and put it through the side where the tag end comes out, and you take it and pull it down tight as you can. I use my teeth because that what works for me, but you use what works for you. And once you do that, pull the line through and feel with your fingers where you felt the line crimp down at and cut that off, because that's a weak point in your line now. You don't want to use that in your knot because it might make your knot fail. So now you basically tying a simple fisherman's knot. That's kind of what it is. But you take your finger, you make a gap right here, and you go wrap around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I typically do 6 because it works with all different size lines for me. I've used 15-pound tests up to 30-pound tests. So that's what works for me. But next, you want to start to pull it tight. Lubricate it. Do not tie your knot dry, because that will burn the knot. When mono rubs against each other, it typically burns and it makes your knot weak and it'll break. So I use my spit, but you can use water, whatever you would like. And just slowly pull it tight. You don't want to do it fast. You want to pull it slow. Then once it gets tight, apply some pressure to it, and it should look like that. So next, you want to cut your tag in. For my main line, when I cut my tag in, I don't cut it all the way down. I leave just a tad little bit because it can slip. So you do not want to cut it all the way down, and then it does slip and there's nothing for it to slip down onto. For my shock leader, I cut it really close to the knot, but not direct on the knot, because that can slip too. So you want just a tad little bit. Trust me, it'll be alright going through your guides and all that. It won't get stuck. It won't make you bird's nest or anything. So next, you just want to grab your rod, and put however much you think you need up there. I'm gonna put a lot, just so I could be safe, because I don't want to break off on a fish that I could have caught just because I didn't have enough shock leader. I need to get one of those line capacity things, so when you put line on your reel, your spool don't just spin and make your line twist up, because that's a really big issue I got. And that's probably why I bird's nest so much all the time, because see, as you see, I'm just pulling the line, trying to get it to stop trying to tangle up so much. But I would say put as much shock leader as makes you comfortable. I'm gonna put a lot, just so I can be safe. That's about good. So then you just cut it however much you feel you need up there. So got your shock leader on your reel now, on top of your main line. I would say don't go under 20-pound test for your main line, and I would say you can use 40-pound test shock leader, but I like 50 just because it's a little bit more abrasive. So if it get rubbed up against any rocks or anything, you don't just immediately snap off or break off. But now I'm going to show you how I tie my rig. So I'm gonna use a 7/0 J hook. That's what I like using. It's simple for me. 80-pound test mono. I'd use a hold on. I use a simple, it's a really simple knot. I snail my hooks on, and then I tie a simple fisherman's knot to my barrel swivel. So let me show you how I tie my snail knot. Okay, so I go through the eye. Like most hooks you're gonna snail have a bend in on like this, so you go through, pull just a little bit of a tag in so you can have something to grip onto when you need to tighten it. Then I go back around and come up through the top, come back through the opposite side from where you just, and now it's gonna make a loop like this. So you want to take your fingers and lay your loop and your tag in down together. You make one wrap. Your first wrap is gonna be at the bend of the hook, and then you want to go up towards the eye. You want to go up towards the eye of the hook. You don't want to go down, you want to go up. This is to keep your snail knot from slipping or loosening up. So you just keep wrapping. I do about 6 wraps. That should be good. And then all you want to do is you want to pull both at the same time. You don't want to just pull one. You want to pull both at the same time. I use my teeth because that will work for me. So once it's tight down, then you take it and you pull it up to the shank of your, pull up the shank of your hook up to the eye. Next, you want to cut your tag end off and grab you a barrel swivel. Grab your barrel swivel, and I use swivels that just have clamps on them already, so I don't have to buy anything extra. Just a regular old barrel swivel. Get it from Walmart. I know there's people out there that say the swivels from Walmart don't work and They break easy. I've never had one fail on me for any fish I've caught. So that's just what I use. Or you can buy the little clamps like this from Walmart and just buy smaller barrel swivels and clip those onto the barrel swivel. Or you can buy the swivels with the little clamp that's already comes on them. That's what I like to use. But I've done both. They both work. So you want to take your regular barrel swivel, and I don't like to use really long. Leader line unless I'm using like live bait. Now, if I'm throwing cut bait on the bottom, you don't really need a long leader. So I do about maybe 3-4 inches. Don't need too much. So I do a simple fisherman's knot or clinch knot, whatever you want to call it. I do about 3 or 4 wraps because I'm using 80-pound test, so I don't need a lot of wraps in it. And same thing like earlier when you was tying your other knot, you want to lubricate it because you don't want it to burn. So now, once you lubricate it, I'm going to tighten it down. Another way I like to tighten it down too is to make both knots are tight and they won't fail. I put the hook in the swivel and I take my fingers and pull really hard till they are tight, till they can't get no tighter. So now you cut your tag end off. Now you want to go to your rod and put the line through your guides. You do not want to tie your rig on and your line isn't in your guides of your rod. So now that you got that done, you want to grab your snap swivel. Some people use beads. Sometimes I don't use beads because I've heard they mess your knot up more than just leaving the actual swivel on by itself. So this time I'm just going to use just the swivel down to my leader line with my other swivel. So this knot, I like to tie the Palomar knot. I don't like to use, because it's 50-pound test, it's a lot easier to tie than 80. So with the Palomar knot, you want to go through the opening of your barrel swivel, and then you want to go back through the exact same way that you came out, and now you're going to have a loop and your tag end. So you want to take your tag end and you're going to tie a basic overhand knot with the loop side. You pull it through, you pull it. Now you want to take your hook and your swivel, your hook, all your leader line, and your swivel, and go all the way through. And then start tightening down the loop. And I like, while I'm tightening this down, same thing, you lubricate it, but I like to take the loop and pull it up and make sure it goes over top of the knot and not under it. So when you're tightening it down, it looks like, see how it wants to go down? So I take it and I grab it and pull it up. So while I'm tightening it down, it doesn't want to get stuck under the knot, because that's what makes it so strong, when it's over top of the knot, not under it. You just pull it tight as you can, and then that's how it should look when it's done. You got your clinch knot, you got your Palomar knot, you got your hook snelled, and then you got your tag in, so you can cut that pretty close. Don't cut it, I wouldn't cut it too close, but you can cut it pretty close. So now, you just got just that little bit hanging off. That ain't gonna bother nothing. Then you got your sinker slide, snap swivel, whatever you want to call it. And now, whenever you get, I like to throw 8-ounce weights because that's what sits best, even when the current's moving pretty fast. So you just open up your sinker slide. You can use frog tongues, 3-sided, 4-sided pyramids. You can use whatever you want, whatever fits you. And it's basically what your rig will look like. Then use like a piece of cut white perch or cut shad, throw it out, let it sit. You get your, and then good thing is when with this rig, people call it fish finder rig, people call it Carolina rig. No, yeah, Carolina rig, call it all. When your weight sitting on the bottom, striper are really like finicky fish. So your weight sitting on the bottom, they don't feel the weight. They just pick up your bait and swim with it. And that's when you hear your clicker go off. You come and gauge your reel. You either set the hook or reel down to it, depending on whether you're using a circle hook or a J hook. And that's it. So I'll be getting back with y'all real soon. Once the striper get up in the river, I'll be making plenty of videos, getting those videos out to y'all. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Follow me on TikTok. Follow my Instagram. All of it. My TikTok is The Real Meat. The Real MEET, not MEAT. My Instagram is The Real Outdoors TV. My YouTube channel is also The Real Outdoors TV. And this is your boy The Real Meat, and I'm out.